energy.
What's up guys? Hi and welcome back to New Zealand. We're on a tropical island all on its own, right in the middle of nowhere. It's like Pirates of the Caribbean.
Yeah.
We've got an old graveyard behind us with only about 10 tombs and it's proper like a cowboy graveyard. So this island's tropical. It's literally just me and Andy and one or two others, a handful of people just on here for the day. And this is one of all these islands around here were cannibal islands. But I'll tell you a little bit more about that in a little while. We'll just for now show you where we are. So this is the graveyard. This is like the cowboy graveyard.
Are there any spirits of any people here?
That was a bird. You can see the sea in the background, guys, so you can see where we are.
Any spirits of any people here?
It's exactly out of Pirates of the Caribbean, this place.
My stomach.
So somebody must have had stomach issues.
Yeah.
Did you have a problem with your stomach? Is that why you passed? What's your name, please? Can you tell us your name? Are you male or female? So Andy's running spirit talker.
My stomach.
Sounds like someone had stomach issues, no, maybe stomach.
Any disrespect or anything
Evil.
like that. Evil? That's easy.
Was there any witchcraft or black magic practices ever performed on this island that you know of?
Don't mean any disrespect or anything like that. We just want to know stories,
Because
people who lived here, people who were here.
New Zealand, North and South and all these small islands dotted around where there was evidence of cannibal activities going on when Captain Cook sailed these islands. Cook sailed these islands to put names to everything and to put them on the map. And he stopped at one island, and when he got there, the natives were sat having a bonfire and they was polishing off somebody's arm. And Cook was like, "This is a human arm," and they're like, "Yeah, and?" He's like, "You're eating a human arm," and they were like, "If we get a human arm, we're lucky. Sometimes we only get a finger, so if we get a full arm, we're gonna like season it properly and enjoy it." And Cook was like, "You're eating people?" And they were like, "We only eat our enemies." These are the islands where the cannibalism took place. These are the islands that are straight out of Pirates of the Caribbean. Now, the nature preserves, bird preserves, animal preserves and graves from the past.
Army people, aren't they?
Some are, yeah.
You are compassionate.
You are compassionate.
Yes, we are compassionate. We're very compassionate. So we're here in peace. And we're here to thank you for serving in both of the wars.
Yeah.
And we've come all the way from the UK to thank you personally for serving in the First and Second World Wars, even though you lived in New Zealand.
2016.
Your heroism will never be forgotten.
Second World War, Australian Anzacs, Australian New Zealand Army. So they sort of mainly fought against the Japanese.
Really?
The sort of Japanese, because that was earlier.
We was fighting against the Japanese on that boat this morning for a seat and a place to put bags. Sympathies, mate.
They've all carried on though, haven't they?
I have no clue where they've gone and I care not.
Oh, the Japanese have gone to the winery.
Well, they'll be even worse when they've had a few. If they've gone wine tasting, that's good night Vienna. Alright, we're going to take a walk over this side because I just want to show you guys exactly where we are. So, we're about, maybe 10 miles outside of Auckland. But there's islands all the way down this coast of New Zealand, all the way from the top, the Bay of Islands, if you want to check it out on the map. Right the way down, past Auckland, there's these other islands. This one is a bird, as you can hear. It's mostly a bird sanctuary. And obviously the plants and trees, they're conserving all of that. There's some beautiful, beautiful beaches that you can get to yourself around here. But right now we're concentrating on this bit of a cowboy graveyard. Well, I call it that because it's like straight out of the cowboy movies.
Breath.
Is that the name?
Breath.
So there we go, guys. So there's a boat just leaving the island over there. That's the only way you can get here. You sail in and you sail out, and that's it. You could stay as long as you want. But what was interesting, Andy, this used to be used for drug and alcohol rehabilitation.
Yeah, it did. I mean, that's interesting, that, because you would imagine, because you can't go anywhere. You're not going to be able to get out. You're not going to be able to escape anywhere, are you?
No.
So I mean, it's a bit.
I mean, in these kinds of
it would have been probably one of the best places to come to.
in these kinds of settings,
Yeah.
you could really relax and chill out and get therapy. And unfortunately today, people are trying to do it from their own homes, or they go down to the local centre, and it's the stresses of life are still there.
It's probably ideal.
You could I think here, you'll come away from here a different person. All kinds of little birds flying about here, and they're all curious because they probably don't often see people up here taking, with cameras doing shots and stuff. Might mean a bird call.
Yeah.
Because there's loads of little birds, look, they're all in the trees there.
Yeah. See, there's some up there as well.
The sounds are completely different.
Yeah.
You can probably hear, guys, that the sounds of these birds, these lush and tropical jungle forests, are completely different to what you normally hear. The colours of the birds are totally different. They're very brightly coloured. Not like in parrot style, but more like brown birds, but with a lot of like bright colours in their wings and the heads. Birds like we've never seen before. So this is the graveyard again.
Very small, isn't it?
Yeah, well, it's like not many people would have lived on this island.
No.
Maybe they used it as a rehab for after the war as well.
Yeah.
For people with PTSD. Perhaps that's why the graves are all related to that.
Yeah.
Perhaps after that experience they needed somewhere peaceful to live. It's really peaceful and really tropical. It's really hot as well, isn't it?
Yeah.
Look at that bird flying there. He's followed us all the way up.
He's just curious because
Yeah, he is.
you won't get people here, would you?
No.
I mean,
Do you want to have a walk down to the beach then, and we'll film as we go and show people?
alright,
So this place is full of private beaches. You can literally get a beach to yourself for the afternoon, which is like just well cool. You bring your picnic. You just get dropped off by boat, and they tell you what time do you want to pick up, and off they go, leave you, and they come back at whatever time you want to get picked up. You got the place to yourself.
that fella in the bushes.
Listen, let people listen.
He's got it.
Yeah, but people can hear this.
Oh yeah.
Don't get this at home.
No, you don't.
I can zoom in and film him. Go on, do it for the camera now.
You don't want to do it now.
No, he's probably thinking I haven't been paid yet.
I don't mind.
We'll pay you in knots. That's strange that. We're filming this tropical bird and that said I don't mind singing.
I don't mind speaking.
I don't mind speaking.
Yeah, but
Alright, so we're going to head down now to one of... No, you would do it now, wouldn't you? You're taking the... I'm coming back in. Go on, you know you want to. Come on, we've come a long way to hear you sing.
do it now, will it?
No. He's thinking, my agent didn't pay me for this, I didn't know about this. Guess what, mate? Neither did any of us.
As soon as you walk down here, it'll do it.
It will. Anyway, I'm not scrapping with birds on a tropical island. I like the birds that talk back, the parrots and stuff. Yeah, so proper Pirates of the Caribbean island, this, definitely. It's just straight out of movies. So you expect a dinosaur to rear its head up back there, don't you, like Jurassic Park?
Yeah.
So really, during the day, we're just having a chat with you all about different things and showing you where we are. And just explaining a bit about what we do and why we do it. And why Andy goes missing every time I take him anywhere up a path that goes nowhere. But anyways, we'll carry on down here for now. So
North Tower, or do you want to go down to the
let's go down to the beach. That tower's just, it's like got telegraph poles and things on it. It's not like a haunted tower. Not in England now. It's not one of them like Gothic towers. It's just a tower with masts all over it, you know, so because then people that work here can communicate in it.
telephone masts, I don't.
Yeah, it might be a big deal that here, you know, telephone tower, but we live right at the base of one, so it's not really. So we're going to go down to the private beach. I think that's a bit more picturesque than the telecom tower.
Yes, that's right.
It is. Somebody's agreeing with me there. Must be another lady. Right, so whilst we're on this foot tour, tell you a little bit more about Captain Cook, who discovered all of these islands. But the islands were actually, New Zealand was actually discovered in the early 1600s by a Dutchman called Tasman Abel Tasman. He discovered North and South New Zealand islands, and then he went on to discover Tasmania. That's why it was called after him. That was about 150 years before Cook. Cook came out to draw the maps properly for our atlases and globes back home. So Cook had already sailed across to Fiji, Tahiti, Samoa, Jakarta, which was called Batavia in those days. And then he sailed down and found New Zealand accidentally, really. He knew it was down here somewhere, but he came across Auckland way. And then started to sketch in the map. He went right the way to the tops of the Bay of Islands, and he sketched it all down one coast. Then he went round and up the other coast, and then he came down, moored up in Cook Straits, which is between North and South Island, so that his botanists could get off the ship and go and take samples from both islands of the plants and everything else that they could get. Then they sailed round the bottom island, the south one. They were looking for Australia also. There was a big chase on at that time for who could find Australia the first. Now the west coast had already been discovered, but the rest of it, they hadn't touched on it. So Cook did get to Sydney, sort of between Sydney and Melbourne he landed. And they called Botany Bay that name because it's where they took all the botany samples of plants and things. There's the beach. So we're just following up on, you know, where he went and what he did. So these are private beaches, and these are just natural beaches, these. Nobody touches them. And you get the odd visitor here and that's it. But everybody has to come by boat. There is no other way to get to these little islands. Me and Andy got dropped off by boat today, and we're getting picked up about 6 p.m. I'll walk along and show you guys, because really, words won't do it justice. Pirates of the Caribbean. You half expect the Black Pearl to come round the corner there. Lots of caves and things to explore. Lots of walking trails to explore. Some history. Some footprints, but I doubt they're going to be dogman ones, not here. I've lost Andy once again. He's gone on his on thing. You should have took the other camera. So you're always going off doing your own thing. Why don't you just take the other camera and do your own shoot? He was meant to be doing a joint thing whilst we're here to talk to you guys more about, you know, us and how we came to get into the paranormal. We've got into the paranormal for different reasons, and we've got together for different reasons as well. So for those people that don't already know, most people do I think, that Andy and I met in rehab in 2006. I was giving up drinking and Andy was giving up drinking, and we met there. And we worked together for 2 years as volunteers, helping out people to give up drinking drugs. And then we got together and eventually we got married, and that's how it came to be. I was just explaining to the guys about how we got together.
Yes, so when one problem came out with a bigger one.
Yeah, he came out with a wife. That's a big
this
problem.
This island is actually owned by the Salvation Army.
Is it really? Is it?
Yeah.
So Andy, what got you into the paranormal?
I think it's always been there, and I think I was always, since being sort of 5-6 years old when I went to Stonehenge, I've always been interested in witchcraft, magic, the occult and things like that, and I think the paranormal just works in with it. I've always been interested in stuff that is unexplained. You know, as a kid I used to get them magazines, the unexplained files and things like that, and it just, I'm fascinated by things that you can't explain, and it's discovering what's going on, you know, the paranormal, UFOs, Bigfoot, you know, cryptoids and things like that, and it's like you have your everyday things that go on, but there's stuff going on around you that you have no idea of what's going on until you start looking for things, and then you realise that there's things happening around you that you just don't know, and it's just a way of I don't know, it's just an interest, isn't it?
Yeah,
it's
of course it is.
Fascination, and it's about, sometimes it's your whole view of life changes, because if you go along with the idea that you live on this earth for what, 80, 90 years, and then that's it, what's the point?
Yeah.
But you have some sort of inclination, like that I have, that this isn't it, this is just the start of it. There is something after this, with absolutely no doubt whatsoever, that there is something after this life, you know. And so in other words, don't be afraid of dying. Don't be afraid, it's the next step, you know. People who've gone, don't, you know, yeah, you should celebrate the lives, not like that's the end of it.
Yeah. Which they do in a lot of cultures, don't they?
It's a celebration of life, and that's why in other cultures and other places, countries, that they make such a big thing about the funeral or the burial or things like that, that they take things, special gifts and things that they bury with them or they send them on the way with for the next life. They don't believe in that, so they believe that this is the start of the next life, moving on to a higher place, you know. And that's,
so
it's a better way of thinking that, right, this is it, I'm here for 80 years, that's it, that's my lot. I mean, that's going to depress you.
Captain Cook had to bury some of his men at sea and on the beaches where he landed because they died on the ship.
Yeah, and that's what they would have wanted.
And a lot of them got buried actually on beaches like this with just a crucifix, wooden crucifix with the name painted on and the year that they passed. And then also, like, if they were out at sea, he would do the funeral ceremony on the ship and then let them go out to sea. Leave, you know, so our ocean beds are covered in shipwrecks and treasure chests and coffins, including Sir Francis Drake, whose coffin was sent into the sea off the coast of Puerto Rico, Mexico area.
Because that's how they wanted, that's how they lived their lives, and that's how they want to continue with their lives. part of what they are, whatever you come back as, or whatever your next life is. No, this isn't it. This, you're not born, you're here for 80, 90 years, and then that's it.
No.
What's the point?
No.
What is the point of that? You've got to believe that there's more after this, and there is.
Yeah.
There is.
So, So Captain Cook came to these islands because he had to put them on the map, and he did come across cannibal activities on these islands.
Yeah.
He and his men came ashore, and some cannibals had, some natives had a fire going and they were cooking meat, so Cook wandered over and introduced himself and said who he was, and then he noticed that one of them was roasting an arm, a human arm on the spit. So he said to them, "This is a human arm." And the natives were like, "Yeah, we normally have a leg or, perhaps a few toes. Today we're having an arm." And it was just normal for them. So Cook said to them, "Why are you eating? You're eating people. Why are you eating people?" And the natives said, "Well, we only eat the enemy. If the enemies come here and make trouble with us, if we beat the enemy and kill them, we will roast them and eat them in celebration that we've won." And it was a normal thing, all of these islands, but New Zealand, north, south, all these small islands off the coast, all the way up to Fiji and Samoa and Tonga and Tahiti, all of those places and all the other smaller islands that are lesser known, they all spoke the same language, because Captain Cook picked up a guy called Tapaya from Tahiti, and they visited all the islands all the way down to New Zealand, and when they got to New Zealand, the same language was spoken everywhere, and Tapaya was able to translate what the natives were saying. But when he got to Australia, they were completely different natives. Those natives, they didn't wear any clothing at all. They had no feathers to dress the person. They had no cloth to show what tribe they came from. And they were very timid, and they used to hide in the trees. They wouldn't come out. They would hide in the shrubs, and Cook tried so many times to come on shore to be friends with them, to leave them beads, necklaces, different trinkets and things. They wouldn't accept them, and they ran and hid. Then they would peep behind trees and start throwing darts at Cook and his crew, trying to, hit them. So Cook just turned around and fired his musket in the air, and they all fled off into the woods. And Cook was like, if these darts are poisoned, don't touch them. That's what he told his men. We don't know if they're poisoned or not. But they studied the darts, and the darts weren't poisoned because the tribe's people weren't intelligent enough by that stage to learn about poison darts. So all of these islands, Cook visited them, different experiences. He wanted beaches like these so that he could set up his telescope and all his apparatus for studying the stars at night. And it's Cook and his crew that brought us the meridian time from Greenwich and all the different time zones around the world.
It makes you think, though, would people have been travelling if it hadn't been for that? And the think methods they used and the directions they used, would people be travelling like they do now?
Well, what happened? Cook had Joseph Banks on board, who was the botanist, and then he had two doctors with him. One was a surgeon, and one, he was a doctor of astronomy. So between them, they mapped out the islands and they mapped out the stars, and they were able from that to figure out. They were able from that to figure out how the distance from like England to these places, and eventually, and because they studied the soil and the plants and the land and all of that, they could see that the place could be cultivated and actually people could live here. Yeah. They did with America too, and Australia the same. So eventually, in New Zealand, in 1850, thereabouts, people from America and people from England and Ireland and Europe started to ship out here and settle because they knew they were able to farm and live. Put the spirit talker on. If Cook doesn't come through now, I'm going to strangle him. I swear to God. I've been after this captain to speak for so long, I can't tell you. Captain Cook, I've been to your home at Whitby. I've been to your place of training on the south coast at Lyme Regis. I've even been to your farmhouse cottage at Melbourne in the botanical park there. And I said to you, I'm going to go to New Zealand and follow your tracks. And I want you to come through and give me some message. So please, if you can just give me one of the names of the people off your ship, any message in particular, or if I've got any of the facts wrong, perhaps you'd like to come along and correct me on that. I am actually reading your Captain Cook journal at the minute. It was written in your hand, so we cannot get more accurate than that when it comes to information. So they used to set the telescopes up on these beaches at night time. And they were tracking Venus and Mercury and the Sun and the Moon positions. And if it was a good enough night, they would track also Jupiter and Saturn. So Andy's rolling spirit talker. So we'll see if anybody, Captain Cook's ship or any other ship, any of the other people that sailed Abel Tasman, if there's other sailors here would like to come forward. Did you drop on this island? Perhaps you were marooned on this island. Were you ever marooned here? If so, give me your name, please.
Come on, let's be having you.
Well, he was from Yorkshire, so he will understand our accent perfectly. Maybe that's why he's not coming through, because we're from Lancashire and he's from the other side of the Pennines, Yorkshire. Listen to the birds. So different, the sound.
That one worked for squawking though, was it, when you...
Yeah, but isn't it good though when you go to these tropical islands and the sound is completely different.
Yeah.
Been to a few tropical islands now over the years. We got married in Sri Lanka, so we did that island, and then we did also Dominican Republic. Beautiful Dominican Republic. One of the most beautiful, beautiful places I have ever set foot on in my entire life. From top to toe, white beaches, people are lovely, it's full of flowers and fruit and happy music. If you come away from there unhappy, then you need like serious psychiatric help, is all I'm going to say. Fiji, yeah, fantastic place, Fiji. Hawaii we did also, and now we're here at New Zealand. So I do like to try and get out to the tropical islands because it's where all the stories of the pirates, especially over the Caribbean side, and all the stories of the famous sailors, you know, these islands play such a big part, such a big role, and the natives that used to live on them, you know, and now, you know, the Maori Indians are living on the mainland. They, you know, they still keep their own culture and their own customs and traditional dance and all that, which is so amazing to see. And I think it's important, you know, you should never lose that heritage of where you're from. We get the occasional sign of this century when a plane goes over. It reminds you that, yeah, we are in 2024. Listen to that, that's so unusual. I don't know what kind of a bird that is. There is like a centre here with all the pictures of the birds up, and then it tells you the names of each one. But what I've found studying the Cook map here, I've struggled with it a bit because all the names that Cook gave to all the bays and mountains, they've turned them back to the original Maori names. So yesterday I had to do a bit of research and go in the Marine Museum to check out the old Cook map to get the names of the bays and what the bays are called now, because obviously they've changed them back to their original names. We haven't even looked up if there's any signs of any cryptids in New Zealand at all. We haven't touched on that yet. I'm sure we'll come across it at some point with somebody. I know there have been some cryptid reportings in Sumatra, so there's no reason why, you know, these tropical places can't have some cryptid of their own. But unless somebody gives us an account or we have some evidence of anything, we're not going to be following up on cryptids here unless there's need to. Why are you dying? You're on a tropical island, the sun is beating down. Typical man. Gets man flu in the middle of... We're on the other side of the equator and you've got man flu. What the hell? Forgive my sins. Who are you, please? Why should we forgive your sins?
Why? What did you do that you need forgiving? You killed the natives.
There might have been someone from a ship who pinched the liquor and stuff.
That's why you, what sins do you need forgiving? Before I can forgive your sins, I need to know what your sins are. One, you need to be confessing properly. What are your sins? Forgive your sins, well you need to be telling me. You need to be saying, well I have, whatever. So come on, you need to know what your sins are. And if it's possible to forgive them. And what's your name? Give me your name. I don't know your name, I can never forgive your sins, can I?
Should we go over to that little rock up there, that cave thing?
Yeah.
Let's see, because you know, a lot of people that travel around the globe, like Nelson and his army, they used to chisel the names and leave. What did it say?
Why are you trapped? Because nobody...
You're trapped here?
You've not been able to have your sins
Because them little
forgiven.
birds there under.
They're nice to
I don't know whether they're not the kiwis. No. I don't know what they are, to be fair. I'll have to look them up and see the name. But it depends what area the person comes from.
Why are you trapped? Where are you trapped? Why are you trapped? What's keeping you here?
I know what to keep me here.
Eh?
I know what to keep me here. You wouldn't have to ask me twice.
What keeps you here? Why are you trapped? And what sins do you need forgiving?
Perfect, isn't it? Blue skies, turquoise seas, white beaches, hot sun, and no people moaning and whinging and being sarcastic and miserable. Why would you not want to stay here for the rest of your life? It's right though, isn't it?
It's too hot. There's no people. There's no
Oh,
burger
they're
there.
full of it.
There's no
Full of
pub.
it. I've got no time for people that go travelling and do nothing
It's
but moan
not
and whinge
right.
when they come back.
There's
It's
no
like, stay on
nothing.
your couch, mate.
boring.
Stay on the couch, mate.
It's boring. It's
If
costing
your all-inclusive sunbed don't suit, stop on the couch.
healing.
Healing. Oh, do you know what?
Healing.
People came here for drug and alcohol rehabilitation, and also soldiers came, so perhaps it's someone like that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Do you want to stay here? Is this the place where you got help?
Forgive your sins. Well, what sins are they? You need to tell you. You know. What you might think is a sin, but might not be. No.
Perhaps it's someone who was in the war and killed people, you know, in the army, and then perhaps they're carrying the guilt.
Somebody who came here with alcohol problems who had issues.
Maybe.
Who felt with...
See, the thing is, a lot of these soldiers would have developed drug and alcohol issues afterwards because of the PTSD.
She did fearful.
Who?
Man,
Somebody there?
No.
Oh my god, I didn't see her. Maybe she's a ghost.
No, she was on
Some of them do present in colour, you know. They're not all black and white and
She
grey.
was on the ferry with us.
That's a bit of a letdown. Hoped it was going to be a ghost for a minute.
I need to disappoint you, but...
Do you want to challenge the rocks?
Oh, if you want to challenge the rock.
I want to see if anybody's carved any names into the rocks, because I know that all of the sailors used to chisel the names and the dates into the rocks. And sometimes it's good. I know when I went to Egypt, up at Aswan Temple, all Nelson's army had chiselled the names into the rocks, like graffitied them. It's pretty good to see like ancient graffiti like that. It's when you're walking across this kind of surface you realise you really are on a planet. It's like Jupiter. Let's have a look at these caves. Because if anybody was hiding any booty or anything like that, they're going to hide them down here. Another beach over there. All the way around there's just little single beaches like that, private ones. I'm going in. I don't mean I'm going in like going in, I mean I'm going in the cave. I have no plans to fall in there. I don't stage any of these falling in acts, you know, it's natural, comes quite natural. What did it say, bought? Alright, I'm going to get on this rock and hope for the best. Alright, we're up, we're up. We're up, and as long as we don't fall down, everything's good. Right, there we go. Here's Andy coming through the rocky cave. Oh, we've got someone else behind. Alright. What did you get? Bought?
Oh.
So, yeah, I would figure really, wouldn't it? Because it's the only way to get to this island is by boat. That over there is mainland. Is that mainland or is it another island? It's another island, is it? Alright. So we did come pretty far out then, didn't we?
Yeah, oh yeah.
Proper like tropical island, isn't this?
About an hour. Over an hour.
Yeah, we was a long while.
Over an hour.
Alright. Let's climb back down and go back out that way. I was just seeing if there was any graffiti anywhere, you know, from people that have in the past. Well, they used to chisel the names into rocks and stuff, didn't they? Said they'd been here and all that. Even people that were marooned, you know. Yeah, alright. It's nice to know you're taking pictures.
I will.
He's coming.
Who's coming? Really? Has he got a name? Who's Leonard? Do you know? We should check the graves and see if there's a Leonard on the graves.
Is he coming down here?
It's proper like jungle and desert island. This is exactly what the jungle islands are like, you know, Fiji and those places. And you know, I went to the Amazon jungle too, but that's slightly different because it's all like just pure jungle. There's no beaches there, it's rivers. Really?
Empire.
I wonder if Napoleon ever came out here.
Empire. Oh, British Empire.
Well, there is the British Empire.
I mean, this British Commonwealth. This is.
Well, New Zealand did belong to Britain, didn't it?
It still
It
does.
still has a hand in it.
Well,
Well, I think what happened was the Queen handed it more or less back, said you can rule it yourselves, but you'll still have a... Means they're still attached to us,
yeah,
but we don't own it.
but the still.
We used to, but not...
The head is still the king.
Yeah.
I mean, people are trying to change it and want it changing, and yeah, I get it.
Yeah, but you know what they said in Fiji? The Fijians said we were better off when we were under the Queen. We had more money. And when they went independent, they struggled.
The old fella's back again.
Go on.
I'm surprised they're getting you during the day.
Who?
Satan.
No. Now, all I'm going to say is there would have been a lot of like tribal magic practiced on these islands.
Well, I suppose if when the British came, because they were very, very religious, weren't they?
Yeah.
And I suppose these rituals that the people who lived here, the people who originally who were here already,
Attached.
attached.
Satan's attached. He's talking to you, mate.
Yeah.
I told you.
Yeah. Anyway, something I don't know.
He's talking to you.
Yeah, but they would have been classed as being black magic, wouldn't they?
Yeah,
Because of
because
the
they had
stuff they
different
did.
types of
And
magic that they did.
And there was certainly ones who did sacrifices and stuff like that, so it probably would have been. That's probably aimed at me anyway.
Well, you know,
just
one of the
letting you know I'm
things,
still-
widowed women, they used to cut themselves all over, like self-harming,
Yeah,
to mourn
yeah.
the partners.
Well, how many of them, when their husbands died, used to throw themselves on the big funeral pyre?
You think
mean,
I'm going to do this?
I mean, that was one of the things
You
the
think I'll
wife
be?
did.
You think do you think this wife's going to be doing that?
The wife was buried alive on.
Oh, talking of which, it's our wedding anniversary today. Happy wedding anniversary.
Oh, happy wedding.
It's also World Mental Health Day. Happy World Mental Health Day. And happy wedding
Yeah,
anniversary.
figures them both together.
We got married on World Mental Health
Right,
Day.
come on.
So yeah, it's appropriate.
most people will say, well, living with Alison for that length of time.
That doesn't drive you to the padded cell. I don't know what will.
Surprise, your mental health is alright. That's why I twitch now with him. That's why Satan's attached himself to.
Well, the thing is, like, there would have been a lot of black tribal magic practiced here. We don't know what's gone on ritual-wise.
There would have been the normal rituals, because you've got to remember, if for whatever reason the crops failed, if the crops failed, it wasn't that it was just a bad winter or a bad summer. Rope torture. It wasn't just that it was a bad, just how it was. They'd done something wrong, and then they needed to appease the gods, and they needed to appease the sun or the moon. So they sacrificed. Probably the most strongest way of giving an offering was a sacrifice, and that's what they did, and that was with their beliefs. And then next year, the crops and the food and everything would be fine. So that's what they believed, that the crops failed, we give an offering, and next year they were great. So that's how people believe, because they were very, very by the sun and the seasons and things like that. Break. Rope torture, break.
Yeah, that sounds like somebody's. But the thing is,
Different things coming through it. Yeah.
captains of ships they wouldn't torture the seamen, but they would give them lashes and stuff like that. There would be certain punishments meted out for them people that broke the rules.
Wasn't it, really?
Well, with Cook it was lashes. He used to lash his men 12 times if they broke any laws.
Yeah.
And things like that. But they all had their own different thing on board that they would do. There was the walking the plank.
Yeah.
If they wanted to kick some off shit or somebody off the ship, they'd walk the plank and then chuck them in the sea, and then they had to fight, swim to the nearest land.
Manifest. This is.
Are you going to manifest?
Manifest.
Something that I think something's followed you from somewhere.
Oh, probably. It's not doing me any harm, though.
Well, you're well protected anyway, so it doesn't matter.
Perhaps I can manifest something.
Perhaps you can.
I'm on holiday. I'm not.
So you're not going to draw your circle for Astaroth in the sand and do a little bit of.
Up here, no.
It's not really for that, is it? It's more for conservation of birds and plants.
No.
Natural.
And from what I know, this country is a very, very Christian country.
Yeah, it is now.
Yeah, I mean.
It was converted when the immigrants come out.
It is in this country that. I know it's not by law, but there's a lot of people in this country who really, really have a problem with people of the same sex having relationships.
Yeah.
Especially in the. How can I put this without being? Yeah, the older.
You are limitless.
You are limit. I'm limitless.
You're limitless. You're that too.
Yeah, that. Yeah, but I think the older generations of people in this country really, really have a problem with it.
Yeah, probably.
Really, really have a big, big problem with.
Well, it's like Easter Island. Easter Island won't let gay couples on at all.
I mean, you see, that goes down to their tradition, their culture. That is their culture. Men and women create life.
I think you do
they
find.
Can't get to the point. They can't, because of the cultural and the beliefs. Two people of the same sex doesn't work.
I think what it is.
It's like
When you come from big cities like us, things change. It's all accepted. But when you come to these tropical islands, nothing's changed, has it really much over the centuries?
What do you dare me to
Like
do?
the beliefs, that kind of thing is the same. I mean, all right, yeah, clothing, all that, the modern stuff, internet, boats, planes, that changes. But I think the actual people themselves, where they've come from and what they believe in, doesn't really change much at all, does it?
Whatever you believe on that is, I think whether you agree with it or you don't agree with it, live with it.
Yeah.
because look, all these religions and all these cultures, you know, people being gay or lesbians isn't something that's like a 20th.
Talking.
Can we, yeah, of course we can. I'll keep yapping on. Yeah, but it's like people seem to think that gay men and lesbians is something of a 20th century thing that started probably in the 60s. No, this has been going on for hundreds and hundreds
Yeah, of course
and
it
hundreds
has.
and hundreds
Ancient
of
Roman
years.
and ancient
You know,
Egyptian
there was
time.
always that.
Ancient Greece.
It's just that nobody ever talked about. You know, you have worse things. You know, the Egyptian pharaohs. They were all marrying the brother or the sister, and they were having children with the brothers and sisters and the parent. You know, they all mixed on one line. You know, but that's for another video and another time somewhere else
Alright, so
in the universe.
yeah. We just wanted to show you a bit of where we're at right now, and we're going to continue because we've got to go down to Wellington and Christchurch yet over the next 10 days. So we'll leave you here at this, is it Rotoroa Island?
And I've got a new hat.
Oh yeah. Alright, I've got the old one, just fished it out and stuck it on my head, you know, this is what happens, isn't it?
About me,
It wasn't you. Happy wedding anniversary. I got the old hat as well. The old pot and pan and the old hat. Alright, so we'll leave it there. And thanks for watching and thanks for subscribing. And these little beach talks we're going to be doing are going to cover whatever subject comes up, we'll cover it.
The way this conversation's going, there might be one of us left on this island.
Just bear in mind this used to be a cannibal island.
And
Remember
I've
that,
got
yeah?
the tickets.
Remember that, okay?
I've got the tickets.
Cannibal Island is all I'm saying. Alright guys, so we'll see you very soon on the next shoot. Take care now, bye.
Right.